school, expensive. Private hospital, expensive. Private jet, expensive. But you want my private part for free? Hey!
It's a quiet Sunday morning, February 3rd, 2023, in Jackson, Mississippi. The birds chirp, the sun rises, and families wake up to start their day. In this peaceful neighborhood, something dark is brewing, a storm no one saw coming. A single Facebook notification changes everything. What began as a harmless friend request spirals into a tragedy that will haunt this tight-knit community forever. Imagine checking your phone and seeing a friend request from someone you haven't spoken to in years, or maybe someone new. In this digital age, that simple click can alter everything. For Damon Reed, that notification shattered his world. His fears, insecurities, and suspicions came crashing down. Damon seemed to have it all. A loving family, a bright future, a perfect life on social media. But beneath the surface there were cracks, subtle but undeniable. His marriage to Rashawn Wallace, the mother of his children, appeared perfect. But in reality, their relationship was changing in ways no one saw coming. Rashawn, active on social media, had her own life outside of being a wife and mother. For most, it was harmless. But for Damon, it became a source of anxiety. Why was she always on her phone? Who was she talking to? With every new notification, his suspicions grew. So when he saw that friend request from a man he didn't trust, his worst fears were confirmed. Was this the beginning of the end? A sign of betrayal? For Damon, it felt like a confirmation of everything he had feared. But what was the truth? Was it just a mistake, or was there something deeper at play? This is City Crime Tales, and today we explore the tragic story of Damon Reed and Rashawn Wallace, a tale of love, betrayal, and a fatal misunderstanding triggered by a single click. Before we continue, think about this. What would you do if you found something unexpected on your partner's phone? Would you confront them? Trust them? Or begin to question everything? And make sure you're subscribed to City Crime Tales so you don't miss another shocking story. This is just the beginning, there's so much more to come. Damon Reed. Born in Atlanta, Georgia, he moved to Jackson, seeking something many dream of, a better life for his family. He wasn't looking for fame or fortune, just a place to settle, a place to call home. He was a man of mystery to those who didn't know him well. He worked tirelessly, built his family from the ground up, and began to rise through hard work and ambition. But Damon was no stranger to sacrifice. The long nights, the missed birthdays, the quiet moments when he thought about how much more he had yet to do, all of it for them. His children. His wife. In the eyes of the world, Damon had it all. He had his wife, Rashawn Wallace, a beautiful woman, a dedicated mother, and together, they created a seemingly perfect family. He posted photos of his life, showing their smiles, their moments of joy, and those anniversaries that spoke of a love many ended.
You can't drive. Look, you're not even looking at the road.
Watch the road. Watch the road.
Bro, how you driving? You just turn this on. Dawson, we gotta turn. We gotta turn.
But behind the perfect captions, behind those carefully curated photos, there was something not everyone could see. Something simmering beneath the surface. Rashawn, who had once dreamed of a career in music, found herself working as a licensed nurse, quietly building a respected career in Jackson's healthcare sector. But this new chapter, this new life, meant something different for her, and that difference wasn't always welcomed by Damon. It wasn't just about the bills. It wasn't even about the stress of their busy lives. No, it was something smaller, something that, to most, might seem trivial. It was her phone, the notifications, the digital world she'd become more and more involved in. It didn't make sense to Damon. Why all the late-night messages? The new connections? The constant, almost obsessive checking of her phone? And then, one day, without warning, without any indication that this was coming, Rashawn made a move that would change everything. A seemingly innocent gesture, a Facebook friend request. To Rashawn, it was just another click, a way to reconnect with someone from her past. But to Damon, it felt like the last straw. The notification, the name, everything about it set off a chain reaction inside him. He couldn't ignore it. He couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. And with each passing second, his mind raced. Before we go any further, let me ask you, what would you do if you found something on your partner's phone? A message, a notification, a sign that something wasn't right? Would you confront them? Would you trust them? Or would you do what Damon did? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Because in today's world, a digital gesture, something so small, so simple, can be the beginning of a nightmare. Rashawn Wallace, a woman who once dreamed of being a rapper. She had the passion, the drive, the talent, but not the success she had hoped for. The music industry is brutal, full of false promises, missed opportunities, and constant rejection.
Cops out of money just jump like this. Woo! Watch my kicks. These double C's on my feet.
Reinvented herself. She became a nurse, a licensed practical nurse. She found a new path, a new mission. And through sheer determination, she built a career that demanded respect. No longer was she chasing fame. Now, she was saving lives, caring for people when they were most vulnerable. It was a different kind of fulfillment, a different kind of success. At work, she was calm under pressure. Whether it was comforting a patient, coordinating care, or dealing with a medical emergency, Rashawn handled it all with grace. Her colleagues admired her for her ability to keep her composure when the stakes were high. But despite her professional success, in her personal life, things weren't always as steady. Damon and Rashawn were, on the surface, the perfect couple. They looked flawless together. They were the couple everyone admired. The family you saw in holiday cards, the couple posting loving messages on their anniversary, the ones you envied in their matching outfits at family barbecues. To the outside world, they were the definition of happiness. But like so many relationships, things are rarely as perfect as they seem. As Rashawn's career flourished, so did her social media presence. What started as harmless engagement soon began to snowball into something else entirely. It wasn't just a few likes or comments anymore. No, Rashawn was diving deeper into the digital world. A friend request here, a message there, connections that seemed innocent but were quietly escalating into something more. She began to connect with people from all walks of life, old friends, new acquaintances, strangers who shared mutual interests. And though many of these interactions were innocent on the surface, to Damon, it was like watching his wife slip away bit by bit. The more he saw her engage with others online, the more he felt like he was losing her. He wasn't the type to let things slide. And as the digital divide between them grew, so did his unease. Was this just socializing? Or was something more happening? Rashawn, meanwhile, didn't understand what was happening. To her, she was just keeping up with friends, staying connected. The world she had once been so involved in, music, socializing, new connections, was part of her past. But she still found herself drawn to it, still seeking affirmation, still feeling the need to interact with others on a deeper level. She had always loved being in the spotlight. Whether it was on stage performing or online, the validation she got from others was a part of her identity. But somewhere along the way, something shifted. The digital world that had once been just an outlet of creativity and fun began to feel like something more. Was it attention she craved? Or was it something deeper, something Damon couldn't provide? Something that would send her further down a path she couldn't have anticipated. Damon saw it all. Every notification, every laugh, every comment. And each time, his suspicions grew. Rashawn's digital world was expanding, and his fears deepened. The devoted wife and mother, Damon, the hard-working husband and father. But things were changing. Slowly, imperceptibly, but surely. And when Damon discovered that Facebook friend request, the one that seemed so innocent, yet felt like the breaking point, It was the final straw in a marriage that had been slowly unraveling from the inside. It was just another Sunday morning. Rashawn checked her phone, unaware that the simple action she was about to take would change everything. With a swipe of her finger, she sent a friend request to a man Damon had always been suspicious of. To most, this is just part of daily digital life, a harmless interaction. But to Damon Reed, it was the final straw. When Damon saw that notification, something inside him snapped. The weight of his suspicions, his growing fears, came crashing down. It wasn't the friend request itself that set him off, it was what it symbolized. The increasing distance between them, the secrecy, the digital wall that had slowly begun to separate them. The moment the notification hit his eyes, everything changed. The air between them thickened. The tension was palpable, almost suffocating. Damon's voice broke through the silence, sharp with accusation. "Why him?" he demanded. "Why this guy? Why now?" The words tumbled out, sharp and jagged, cutting through the morning calm. Rashawn tried to defend herself, to explain it was just a friend request, nothing more. But her words fell on deaf ears. The anger in Damon's eyes grew, and he stepped closer, his frustration mounting with every second. Fear crept into Rashawn's chest as she retreated, trying to get some distance, to breathe, to find a moment to think. But Damon followed her. He wasn't backing down. The argument, once just a simple question, had escalated into something far darker. And as she backed into the bedroom, she knew, this wasn't a conversation anymore. This was something else. It was there, in the bedroom, the very place where they had once shared their dreams, their hopes, their love, where they had built their family, that their lives would change forever. Rashawn's heart raced as she reached for the nightstand. In her hands was a Glock pistol, legally registered for their protection. It was never meant for this. But as Damon closed the distance, the weapon became her only means of defense. Her first shot was a warning, fired into the ceiling, the noise loud and shocking. But Damon didn't stop. The warning shot didn't break his resolve. His aggression didn't waver. He kept coming, his anger undeterred. And in that instant Rashawn realized she was trapped. There was no turning back. Her pulse raced as she raised the gun again. There was no time to think. Her instincts took over. This time, she didn't shoot into the ceiling. This time, she fired at the man she had once loved, the father of her children. The bullet hit Damon in the stomach. He crumpled to the floor, blood pooling beneath him. The man she had shared so much with, the man who had been her partner for years, lay motionless at her feet. Everything came to a halt. Rashawn's world froze. She dropped the gun, her hands now covered in his blood. Her breath caught in her chest, the weight of what had just happened crashing down on her. She had acted out of fear, out of desperation. She hadn't meant for this, for any of it. But now, there was no turning back. Rashawn tried to save him. She was a nurse, trained to keep people alive, to bring them back from the brink. But nothing she did could reverse what had just happened. Her hands pressed against his chest, her mind racing as she screamed for help. But in the silence of that room, only the sound of her own voice filled the air. It was already too late. The paramedics arrived quickly, but Damon was beyond saving. Despite their best efforts, he was pronounced dead at the scene. The man she had once shared her dreams with, the man who had been her world, was gone. Rashawn was taken into custody. Her hands still stained with his blood, the weight of her actions now a crushing reality. The police arrived, securing the scene, and began their investigation. They found no one else in the house. Just Rashawn, broken, sitting beside the man she had just shot. In the days that followed, the community was stunned. Rashawn, once the loving wife and mother, now stood accused of murder. Her colleagues at the hospital, her friends, her family, they were all in shock. How could this happen? How could something so simple, a friend request, a moment of suspicion, a fight, turn into such a tragedy? As the investigation unfolded, questions began to emerge. Was this truly a case of self-defense? Or was something more sinister at play? Could this moment of violence have been avoided? Could the cracks in their marriage, the growing digital divide, have been mended before it was too late? For Rashawn, there were no easy answers. The moment she pulled that trigger, her world had come crashing down. And as the legal process began, the questions remained. What led to this? And was it really just a mistake? Or had the warning signs been there all along? What would you do if you were in Rashawn's position? Would you have acted differently, or was this a moment of self-defense? This can help keep the audience involved and invested in the outcome. The investigation unfolded quickly. Evidence was gathered. The gun, bullet trajectories, and bloodstains, all meticulously documented. Rashawn's open phone, showing a Facebook friend request, became the smoking gun, a digital match to the catalyst of the violence. What seemed like a minor act now stood as the pivotal moment that sparked the tragedy. The police worked swiftly, securing all evidence, logging the gun, photographing bloodstains, and mapping the bullet trajectory. While physical evidence told one story, digital evidence told another. Rashawn's phone displayed the friend request she had sent to the man Damon suspected. What once seemed innocent now sat at the center of it all. The friend request was small, but its consequences were huge. For detectives, it was a crucial detail, a digital trace connecting escalating marital tension to the violence. It wasn't just a request, it was the spark that ignited months of emotional strain. As the investigation continued, detectives interviewed everyone who knew Damon and Rashawn, neighbors who heard the shouting, friends who noticed cracks in the marriage, and Rashawn's colleagues who described her as calm but distant in recent months. To the public, the couple seemed perfect, but privately, things were unraveling. Neighbors recalled hearing raised voices before the fatal shot. The arguments started quietly but grew louder. It was clear something had changed in their marriage. What drove Rashawn to such drastic action? Was it years of tension or something more? Detectives spoke to Rashawn's colleagues, friends, and Damon's associate. They learned of a couple at odds, a relationship far from perfect. Rashawn had spent more time online, engaging with people Damon didn't know, while Damon's jealousy grew. But was this enough to justify what happened? The key question, was it self-defense? Did Rashawn act out of fear, or was there something darker at play? The police were determined to uncover the truth behind her actions. As the investigation continued, whispers grew louder. The case shifted from tragedy to spectacle. Rumors spread fast, and one theory gained traction. Was Rashawn protecting a secret lover? Some believed another man was involved, and that Rashawn killed her husband to cover an affair. It was a sensational twist, but the police dismissed it. No evidence of another person entering the house. Everything pointed to Rashawn and Damon. Digital evidence, gunshot trajectory, and a Facebook friend request. Rashawn was alone when the shooting happened. Despite this, public curiosity grew. The case became a media frenzy, with everyone forming their own version of the truth. But what would the court decide? The case was now in the legal system's hands. Rashawn was charged with murder. As she stood before the judge, the reality of her situation hit. This wasn't just about defending her actions, it was about her future. Rashawn pleaded not guilty, claiming self-defense. She said she was terrified of Damon's advances and shot in fear for her life when he wouldn't stop. The prosecution argued it was a rash decision, driven by jealousy. They questioned her actions before the shooting and her relationship with Damon, aiming to prove it was reckless violence, not self-defense. As the trial date neared, the community split. Some saw Rashawn as a woman pushed to desperation by fear, while others suspected a darker truth. The trial would decide if she was a victim or a murderer, but it wouldn't be easy. With the media frenzy intensifying, the public awaited the outcome. Would Rashawn be held accountable, or was this a case of justified self-defense? Was it fear that led to her husband's death, or something deeper? This isn't just another domestic dispute. It's a tragedy born from the clash between digital life and reality. A world where a simple notification or friend request on Facebook can ignite suspicion, fear, and violence. It raises uncomfortable questions about trust, control, and how technology shapes our relationships. At the heart of this case is something we all understand: the balance between privacy and connection, between the digital world we navigate daily and our real-life relationship. How much do we give up to stay connected? And when that connection breaks, what comes next? For Rashawn and Damon Reed, their relationship was built on love but also fear, doubt, and the pressure of living in a constantly watched world. A simple friend request triggered a devastating chain of events, a digital gesture that spiraled into tragedy. This story highlights the fragility of trust in relationship. It's a warning about digital overexposure and how what we share online can infiltrate our private lives and cause harm. What happens when the online and real worlds blur? When our private lives become public, and our most intimate moments are scrutinized? In the end, Rashawn's decision that night changed everything. But her actions were part of a larger story about the complexities of relationships, the power of technology, and the unforeseen consequences of living online. A small interaction on social media escalated into tragedy, showing how quickly things can spiral. Thanks for joining us on City Crime Tales. We hope this story made you reflect on how our digital lives shape the world we live in. The line between the digital world and reality is thin and sometimes dangerously fragile. Don't forget to hit subscribe for more gripping crime stories. We'll see you next time for another dark tale from the city street. Stay safe, stay aware, and always remember, nothing is ever as simple as it seems.